Every now and then, a story comes along that reminds us that no matter how daunting the odds may seem, the underdog can prevail. Stories like these inspire us, teach us valuable life lessons, and stay with us long after we've heard them. Two such stories are I Am David and This Is My Story, and the biblical tale of David and Goliath. At first glance, these stories appear to be vastly different. One is a modern, deeply personal narrative, while the other is a traditional epic narrative rooted in the biblical account. But upon closer examination, we find striking similarities and profound differences that make these two tales not just entertaining, but thought-provoking and emotionally resonant. In this video, we'll compare and contrast these two stories, exploring their unique approaches to the same basic elements of a good story. So, let's jump right in. When it comes to narrative perspective, I Am David and This Is My Story takes us inside the mind of a young Jewish boy growing up in Nazi Germany during World War II. Told in the first person, the story is intensely personal and subjective. We experience David's fears, doubts, and moments of self-discovery firsthand as he navigates the challenges of living under a brutal regime. On the other hand, the story of David and Goliath, as found in the Bible, is told in the third person. The narrator recounts the events as if they were a historical or theological account meant to be shared among the people of Israel. This third-person perspective allows for a broader focus on the external conflict and divine intervention that ultimately leads to the defeat of the Philistine giant. The central character in both stories, David, is portrayed differently as well. In I Am David and This Is My Story, David is a relatable, vulnerable protagonist. His strength comes from his resilience, wit, and determination to survive. He is a symbol of the indomitable human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. In the biblical account, David is still a young boy, but his bravery is directly linked to his faith in God. He is chosen by God to confront Goliath, and his victory is less a testament to his own strength and more a demonstration of God's power to deliver his people. In both stories, David faces a giant, but the nature of the Goliath differs. In the book, the giant represents a larger, more impersonal force, or perhaps even a part of David's psyche. It could symbolize the weight of his past, the trauma he has endured, or the oppressive forces of a totalitarian state. In the biblical story, Goliath is a literal giant, a physical embodiment of the enemy and a direct threat to God's people. While David is the central character in both stories, the antagonist or opposing force is represented differently. In I Am David and This Is My Story, Goliath embodies the dehumanizing aspects of the Nazi regime and the horrors of the Holocaust. This Goliath is not a person, but rather a symbolic representation of systemic evil. In the biblical story, Goliath is a very real and very human opponent. His immense size and heavy armor only serve to highlight the miraculous nature of his defeat by a small boy armed with nothing but a sling and 5 stones. The message or lesson conveyed by each story also differs. I Am David, and This Is My Story focuses on human resilience, the power of personal narrative, and the ability to find hope in the darkest of times. The emotional impact of this story stems from our empathy for David's situation and our admiration for his courage. The biblical story of David and Goliath, on the other hand, has a clear theological message. It teaches about faith in God, humility in the face of adversity, and the belief that God can and will fight your battles if you trust in Him. The emotional impact of this story is one of awe and reverence for God's power and His care for His people. In conclusion, both I Am David and This Is My Story and the biblical Goliath are powerful stories that have stood the test of time. While both narratives tell a story of courage and faith, I Am David focuses on the personal journey and internal strength of the individual, whereas the biblical Goliath story emphasizes a divine victory and the power of faith in a greater being. Each story is unique in its approach to themes, characters, and overall message, yet both stories leave a lasting impact on the reader or listener. Ultimately, I Am David is a story of self-reliance and personal victory, while the Goliath story is a tale of divine intervention and a victory for all of God's people. One inspires us with the strength of the human spirit, while the other teaches a timeless lesson about faith and the power of the divine.